Hello, everybody, and of course, welcome back to episode X with Bull X.
And this,
You already know what to do. If you are on Facebook, please make sure you like and share this broadcast. Again, if you are on Facebook, please make sure you like our Facebook page at X Talking Ish, and as well, if you are on YouTube, please make sure you go ahead and hit that red subscribe button, and also go ahead and hit that notification bell for shows like this one in the future.
ding.
Thank you for that addition as well. If you are on Twitter, go ahead and check us out at X Talking Ish. We have everything streaming through Periscope on our Twitter page. And of course, I retweeted it on my personal page at X_Williams81. And again, you can go ahead and check us out on Twitter. All right, then, before we do get into our topics for the night, I just want to give a shout out to the folks, man. I gotta give a shout out to the folks before we even get on. We got folks letting us know. Let's get it. They want to hear what we have to say. I appreciate that. We appreciate the support. Shout out to Fracture Walnut. Shout out to your family, Fracture Walnut. Shout out to your beautiful daughter. Shout out to Travis Crow out here. As always, appreciate you. Even though we ain't talking about the Cowboys today. He's here, and I appreciate that, Travis, on some real talk. So, with that being said, let's talk about the biggest talking point of the weekend, the NFL Pro Bowl, and not for the right reasons, mainly due to lack of effort in the game. We talked about this last week. We already knew what it was going to be. You said it yourself. I'm not watching that crap. I knew you wasn't going to, and I understand. I'm not mad at you for that at all. I definitely tuned in, not impressed at all, but
I can't believe you wasted your time.
You're correct, Ish. But let's talk about not just the Pro Bowl. We'll get to that shortly. But let's talk about the reactions and the fallout from that, from current players and what they have to say about it. Former players that feel some type of way about what they saw, and also from the fans, of course, that watched the game. This year's Pro Bowl, ratings-wise, was the lowest since 2006. So that's interesting. And if you do know anything about the Pro Bowl, that Pro Bowl in 2006, the next year, I didn't want to bring this Pro Bowl up because I knew somebody's going to bring it up sooner or later, but that was the famous Sean Taylor hit on a punter. And, of course, everybody and their mom want to compare this Pro Bowl to that Pro Bowl, but, of course, it's not the same, and it's not even the same rules, not even the same format. And for people to try to compare the two, it's just not the same. It's apples to oranges, right? And what I remember from, besides the hit from Sean Taylor, from what I think personally, I think because of the ratings were so low in 06, they probably told the players, like, hey, we need y'all to play, right? We need y'all to actually give a damn ish. And I think that's what transpired in 2007 and what continued to go on moving forward. Of course, now we are in 2022. We have a lot of players making a lot of money ish, right? And not just making a lot of money. In just 3 to 4 weeks, we have free agency coming up. We talked about this on the show, saying that this probably is the biggest free agency class in the NFL in a very long time. Ish, I'll let you take this, and when you get done, I'll respond with some of the current NFL players and how they felt about the Pro Bowl game.
I don't know what you want me to say. The Pro Bowl is hot garbage, all right? You already made all the points that need to be made. Free agency is coming up in a couple of weeks. Nobody wants to be. I guess some people maybe want to be there, but nobody really wants to be there. They're not playing. They're over there playing two-hand touch. I mean, what's the point, man? Get rid of the Pro Bowl. I'm gonna say it like it is. Get rid of the Pro Bowl. I don't want to see it anymore. I don't think anybody wants to see it. It's not even really an all-star game per se. I don't think football is the kind of sport where you can have an all-star game.
I say that all the time. High school, college, or pro. It's just not the same as basketball and even baseball. It's not.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, with the contact and the way that it is, and in the time of year that it is, I mean, it's not like you can put it in the middle of the season, because who the hell is going out there to an all-star game in the middle of the season go try to hurt themselves? Who's going to go do it at the end of the season when you got free agency coming up and there are millions and millions of dollars on the line? Like, it just doesn't fit the sport. Okay, get rid of the Pro Bowl. You can keep some of the skill challenge type things. Like if you want to do like a skill challenge weekend type of
And
thing,
I like
I
that.
think
I like
sure
the
do
skill
that.
challenge. I think it's cool, and I think that's something that maybe they can find a way to incorporate the fans, the players, social media, and being able to find something like that to where the NBA has their skill challenge over the weekend. Let's be real, Ish. The NBA is the standard when it comes to All Star Weekend. Everybody knows when you watch NBA All Star Weekend, you're there to see the dunk contest, 3-point contest, the celebrities on the sideline, the reactions from the people the reaction from the dunk contest, and of course the All Star game itself. With the Pro Bowl, let's take it back because everybody remembers the Pro Bowl being in Hawaii. During that time, the Pro Bowl was a week after the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Okay, so
Yeah, it was a week after.
let's
Yeah.
remind everybody it was a week after the Super Bowl where everybody was done playing,
Yep.
and you went to Hawaii for a relaxing, fun getaway with your friends, and it allowed them to play. I feel like more loose and more fun. That's just how I see it. This year, or not just this year, but in the past couple of years now, they've been doing it a week before the Super Bowl, right? And I don't really care for it, but that's just how it goes. And I don't really know if it's been the best thing for the NFL. And if anything, it's kind of been a pushback from everybody. So let me get to the comments right quick because we have people that want to say something.
I like the two comments that Fracture Walnut and Travis gave.
Oh Lord, I know
two worst teams play for the first
no,
round pick.
no,
Yeah,
no, 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 no. Y'all saw that on the
that.
damn meme. No, 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 no. First of all, how we go from not wanting to watch the best of the best half-ass play, but now y'all want to see the worst teams play their heart out for a number one pick. Why?
I'll watch the Lions and the Jets play for the number one pick.
No, you won't. No, you won't.
What? I mean, I probably won't, but still.
Okay then. So thank you. Stop lying. Stop it. Stop. Y'all out here, Fracture Water out here with the two teeth. No, we're not doing that meme crap. No. Let's be realistic on what we should do. I'll say this.
In the Pro Bowl.
Okay. Why not a 7-on-7 challenge? You run like four different teams. You run four different teams. You have four different quarterbacks. You run a 7-on-7 round robin type of tournament like we did back in the day in high school in 7-on-7. You do that, and then the two best teams play in the championship, and you run it like that.
I want the Lions and the Rams to play. I want the Lions and the Jaguars to play.
No, you don't.
I do. I want the Lions and the Jaguars to play.
Okay, if that's the case, the Jaguars have to have Urban Meyer on the sideline.
Okay, sure.
Oh my God, I hate you so much.
It's gonna make for more entertainment anyway.
Yes,
please.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
As a matter of fact, what makes it even more intriguing? Hold on. Let me tell you what makes this even more intriguing, right? We all know about Black Monday when all the coaches get fired and stuff at the end of the season. Imagine the worst team in the league or the two worst teams in the league, they both fire their head coach. Who gonna coach the game? Hey, bro, that's gonna the quarterback is gonna be in there calling his own plays. Hey, I like the idea. I want to see
Jared Goff is gonna be drawing plays in the sand, huh?
Matter of fact, I would argue that they should make it to where there can be no interim head coach going into the game. Like it's got to be a free for all on the side.
Again, y'all, it sounds like y'all playing Madden right now. Okay, let my boy John Madden rest in peace. Don't be out here trying to disrespect his name out here with Hail Marys and 3 seconds left to go on your own 35-yard line and doing all these little silly stuff on Madden. No, we're not doing this. Real,
I like
that
football.
Better. Okay,
that sounds so much better than what we've been watching. That sounds.
It sounds good. It sounds good, but it don't mean it's gonna be right. All right, let me get to the comments though. Fracture One also says they need to move back to Hawaii. It became shit after they left. He also says change the name to the Pop Warner Pro Bowl. We of course all know they're not going to do that. He also says because it means something X, and as well bring back the weightlifting challenge. Used to love seeing Larry Allen kill it. Of course, if you do remember back in the day, Larry Allen hit a good 43 reps on that 225, and he was lifting it up like it was none. And I do agree on the skills on the weightlifting challenge. That was a fun thing to watch, and also again some of the other skill shots they had out there. Travis Crow also says whoever wins get the first round pick when it comes to the two worst teams. But again, it goes back to player safety, right? We talk about how we don't want to add these extra games for teams, but they did it, of course, with week
It'd be the
17. I'm
same
sorry,
as
week
making the
18.
playoffs.
Is it though?
Yeah, I mean the only difference is you get multiple weeks off. I mean they're gonna get a long time to prepare for the game. They
Ain't
get
nobody trying to
to
watch
rest
that.
some
Ain't nobody trying to
players
watch
and
that.
stuff. Everybody trying to watch that.
No, ain't not.
I vote that we replace the Pro Bowl with the two worst teams playing for the number one pick. I think that
You don't.
that's how it should be.
You don't believe that. All right, let me get to this tweet from Darius Slay at Big Play 24 Slay. He says, "I see people upset about the Pro Bowl. I completely understand, but we're the only sport that don't have a All-Star game during the middle of the year. Some guys be having a whole month off trying to recover from a long year." Trent Brown on Twitter also says, "Why would anyone go out there and risk millions by getting injured a month before free agency? That shit dumb. Use common sense." So that
I
is,
got
of
another
course,
argument.
current players. I'm listening. That's current players, but go ahead, Ish.
My other argument would be you don't make the two last place teams play the week before the Super Bowl. Instead, you push the playoffs back a week, and the two worst teams play in like a week 19 game, right? So then we
Nobody
get a
trying to
week.
watch that shit.
Yes, man. Yes. I think that that's so much better, and then that way they can keep the Super Bowl at its current state, current time in the year. And we don't get that week in between. I know they kind of put this week in between so teams can prepare and all that yada yada nonsense. But I think that you just go back to back. You play conference championship, then you go straight to the Super Bowl, and two worst teams open up the playoffs by playing for the number one pick. I think people will watch it. People would definitely tune in. You say you wouldn't tune in, but you would tune in. Trust me.
Unfortunately, yes, I would tune in due to
Exactly.
what we are doing. Due to what we are doing, Ish.
No,
Other
you
than
tune in
that,
because you want to watch it. You would
no,
tune in because you want to
no,
watch it.
no.
You
The
know you want to watch
Lions.
Urban
I
Meyer
don't even
on
want
the
to watch the Lions
sideline.
on Thanksgiving.
Okay, well,
Why would I want to watch them at week 19?
You
What
gonna watch
sense
them
does that
then?
make?
because they playing for the number one pick.
Okay. All right, let me get to a former player, Mr. Deion Sanders, prime time. He tweets, "Lord help me, I'm watching the NFL Pro Bowl, and I remember when we were so proud and appreciative of that accolade. We went to Hawaii to prove we were more than worthy, so we competed at practice in the game. I wanted you to know that prime was prime, what happened and when." So, of course, not just Deion, of course, other former players pretty much felt the same way when it comes to just the lack of effort. But again, when it comes to not just the NFL, when it comes to business as a whole, especially in this realm of sports, players from all around, from football, basketball, baseball, you see it in NBA when it comes to load management, when it comes to holding players back a game or two to make sure that they are 100% healthy to play instead of going out there and playing on 70% health or whatever it is, right? And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying that everybody's supposed to be Kobe or Jordan or whoever it is. My point is that when it comes to this sport, that the sports realm that we are in, cash rules everything around me. Last time I checked, that's what we ain't say. Okay, so with that being said, the NFL and the players are stuck between a rock and a hard place. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I could have sworn just a week ago, because for some reason everybody always wants to get on the players for what the things that they do or don't do. But just about a week and a half ago, we were just talking about Brian Flores was talking about how he was getting paid to lose games. And we were just talking about how owners should be held accountable for the integrity of the game. I'm talking about during the regular season. This is an exhibition game. It's not a real game. Okay, so why are we expecting the same type of level of competition that we see in the regular season in a Pro Bowl game? That's just my logic. That's all. And I do understand and completely agree with everybody. Yes, lack of effort. I got that. I agree. It's not the same like it used to be. I got that. Life isn't the same like it used to be. I hate when people say, "Oh, I wish it was like it back in the 80s." No, you don't. Nobody wishes it was like back in the 80s. Okay? Stop that. If you want to go back to the 80s, then go back to the 80s. But guess what? You can't. Because we're in 2022. All right. We got to move forward. We got to figure out what we got to do to get better as that product of the NFL Pro Bowl. And that's something that they have to figure out. I'm not a part of that. That's on them. All right. Fractured One also says a Pro Bowl in the NFL is the same as being a player of the week in the NBA. Doesn't mean anything nowadays. I understand where you're coming from. I've always, this is my opinion, I've always held an all pro, being able to be an all pro over a pro bowler any day of the week. I mean, that's when it comes to accolades, being an all pro means everything more than being a pro bowler. That's just my opinion ish. How you feel about that?
I mean, the Pro Bowl is nice, it's cool, but yeah, there's so many other accolades that mean more. I don't think anybody will be crying to get rid of the Pro Bowl.
Well, again, that's something the NFL and the players are gonna have to come together and figure out. Of course, this year they tried to make it give some incentives to the players to play, a certain way due to if you score a touchdown, leading rusher, leading passer, this, that, and third. Certain monies go to a certain amount of money goes to said players' charity. So I understand that route, but again, we all in agreement. It's something is going to have to be done. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, but we can always go back to this episode about a year or two from now and figure out if they actually made a change. So it'll be very interesting. All right, speaking of changes, we have some changes around the league when it comes to head coaches, baby. Looks like most of the, if not all, the coaching vacancies have been filled. Ish, I want to say they all
Yeah,
have been filled,
they
right?
all
Okay,
have
thank you,
been
Ish. I just
filled.
want to make sure. I want to make sure I didn't. I wanted to make sure on that one. I thought it was one more still available, but I think everything is solidified at the moment. So, with that being said, I'm going to bring up right quick the graphic that we have when it comes to the NFL's newest head coaching hires at the moment. Of course, you have former Super Bowl champion Doug Peterson going to Jacksonville. You have Matt Uberflursch. I'm gonna have to work on that one. Going to Chicago. Lovey Smith staying in Houston for the Texans. Kevin O'Connell going to the
Now
Minnesota
that's the one.
Vikings.
Just to not to cut you off,
You're
but
good. You're good.
that's the one that isn't complete yet, right? Because his team is
Yes,
still
because he's
playing the
still
Super
Super Bowl.
Bowl.
Yes,
They
yes.
haven't signed the contract, so that's the one that's not necessarily completed, but
Hmm.
everybody knows that he's going there. So
Thank you
while
for clearing that up to
for anybody
everybody.
that's technical, they all haven't been filled because that one isn't complete. But once the Super Bowl is over, he will sign the contract and he will be the head coach of the Vikings.
Thank you for clearing that up for everybody ish. And also going to the New York Giants, Brian Dable. Josh McDaniels gets another shot going to the Las Vegas Raiders. Mike McDaniel going to the Miami Dolphins. Dennis Allen gets promoted and is staying in New Orleans. And Nathaniel Hackett is the new head coach for the Denver Broncos. So with this graphic ish,
Mm-hmm.
who will be the most successful coach
Ooh,
out of these coaches?
that's a tough question. You know, I thought you were going
Mm-hmm.
to give me the softball and ask who will be the
No,
first one to
I
get
gotta.
fired.
Hey, no, I mean I could, but we'll get to that. I want to see who. We can't. We can't go to coaches. They just got hired. Why you want to fire them already? Let's give them a little pep. A little pep talk ish. Come on now.
Yeah. Who will be the most successful? It's hard to really say. I mean, there's so many questions for these teams, which is why part of the reason why we're looking for new head coaches. A lot of them they have the same thing in common. They have question marks at the quarterback position.
Yep.
Now,
Yep.
the two spots that don't have those questions, they have really young quarterbacks coming back. So that would be Jacksonville and Chicago. But outside of that, all the other teams, there are some question marks now. Las Vegas, you could say they're pretty much still set on Derek Carr, but then again, who knows? Miami, we all know what's going on with Tua. Um, New Orleans, wow. Denver, are they going to get Aaron Rodgers? Who knows? Tune into the next episode of Dragon Ball Z on that one.
You ain't lying. You ain't lying.
I mean, it's hard to say really in this. I would say if I'm looking at the list though, and I'm saying who is probably set up in the best spot, um, I might have to go with Kevin O'Connell. To be honest, I might have to go with Kevin O'Connell. The reason why I say that is that Minnesota team, they
It's
are
not
in a,
trash. It's not
they're
trash.
not a bad
They
team.
and they've lost. I want to say 5 to 6 games this season on one scores. One scores. I
Yeah,
mean, those games could have been flipped. I mean, they're the northern version of the Chargers to me.
and not to mention they still do have Kirk Cousins there. I mean, it's up to them. It's up to
Just
Kevin
Jefferson,
O'Connell.
Thielen.
it's up to Kevin O'Connell if he wants to continue with Kirk Cousins or if he wants to potentially look to move on. But if you look in that division and you look at what's going on with Green Bay, you look at what's going on with Chicago. Again, they just hired a new guy and they got Justin Fields there. I mean, you even look at what's going on in Detroit. Detroit's not going to be competing anytime soon. If you're looking at these teams, Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota, that's probably the easiest one to succeed because you don't have to turn around a lot. Like that team is pretty set up, good enough that if Aaron Rodgers does in fact leave the Green Bay Packers, I could definitely see Minnesota winning the division next year. So I will have to wait and see. There are a lot of moving pieces still, but yeah, if you're asking me to pick today, Kevin O'Connell is my pick. Who's going to be the most successful? But I'm curious to see who do you think is going to be the most successful?
Yeah, let me give my answer right quick, but let me go to the comment section right quick. 1777 memorabilia says, as long as people keep watching, NFL is going to keep on Pro Bowl. And
I stop watching that one. That's why I boycotted.
100. Hey, if you want to make your voice known out here, you gotta make sure you contribute or not contribute with your dollars. That's just how it is out here. Fracture Walnut also says Peterson is the best hire this year. DA is the worst in my opinion, according to Dennis Allen. Travis Crow says though he feels like the Saints with Dennis Allen is the best hire. So, hey, that's interesting.
That division is also
up for grabs as well. It's in a again, depending on what happens in this off season. Again, we'll get to that in the next section. I'm going to say the next topic that we have coming up. I don't think Tampa Bay is just going to just give that division up that easily. So I'll get to that very shortly. But for me, I agree with everything that you're saying. I really was just going to pick Kevin O'Connell and leave it alone because of what he's coming into. Everything is pretty much set on both sides of the ball. There's going to be some pieces that's going to get filled in during the free agency and draft. But for the most part, the Vikings are, I mean, they may be young, but they are ready. Okay? I mean, they are right there. Oh, that's what I'm saying. So if Kevin O'Connell can bring in the Rams magic in there, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they're in the playoffs next year and maybe even win a playoff game. But because again, I know you like getting on me about Kirk Cousins, but hey, second best touchdown to interception ratio this season. He wasn't a bum. It wasn't a bum. I mean, he played well. He just,
bro, you love Captain America, bro. You love him. You love you some. So you like that?
You upset with me because I like America? Is that what you saying? You mad because you live in the great nation of America?
Africa's the best.
All right, no, but seriously though, after Kevin O'Connell, on a serious note though, the other two, check out for Brian Dable in New York because this is your boys. Danny Dimes. This is Danny Dimes' last opportunity. This is Danny Dimes' last opportunity to be able to show that he is the guy because we all know that New York. But I understand you're correct, but Brian Dable has that type of little magic to come from Buffalo and do what he did with Josh Allen. Maybe he can do the same thing with Danny Dimes. Word on the street is the Giants look like they're going to be moving on from Saquon Barkley. And I'm 100% okay with that. They need to go ahead and move on. He's not that guy. Just go ahead and move on.
He's been the best runner on that team for a long time now.
This even with a guy that trips up by himself and can't score a touchdown. Yes, unfortunately, you are correct. But the two outside guys that I'm looking at really are going to be in the state of Florida. Doug Peterson and Mike McDaniel. The reason why I say that is because Doug Peterson is in a very good opportunity to where he can mold Trevor Lawrence and do what he did with Carson Wentz and Nick Foles and be that quarterback guru that Doug Peterson is. And you also have Mike McDaniel, who is this apparently
he's the dark
boy
horse.
Wonder. He's the boy horse. Wonder. He's supposed to be the guy that is supposed to be the next Kyle Shanahan, right? So if he can,
tree, right?
If he can get Tua to a level where Tua is supposed to be playing the way Mike McDaniel maybe see Tua, then who knows where Miami can go? I think that division. I'm not saying it's wide open, but it is the Bills division to lose. But Miami has been there knocking on the door for the last couple of years now. But the year before that, they were there. What's up?
One thing to note real quick, the word on the street is that he is trying to keep a lot of the defensive staff that is still under contract there in Miami. So that is a big plus for him, and that's why he's the dark horse for me, because if he is able to keep that defensive staff intact for the most
It's a
part,
top 10, it's a top 10, top 15
that's a
defense.
top 10 defense. And you're bringing in a guy who he excels on the offensive side of the ball. He was run game coordinator on top of being an offensive coordinator in San Francisco. And we've heard all the stories about how San Francisco and LA, they like to set up the run, or basically they go out there and they scheme the run before they scheme any pass plays. And then they use the scheme from the run game to build the passing game around that, right? So if he's able to do that in Miami and help Tua in that from that standpoint of establishing that run game and putting them in good spots with the run game, and then allowing Tua to do what he needs to do, but with no pressure. Oh man, this Miami team, like we said, they have a top defense already. You keep that staff around and they perform similar to how they performed in the second half of this year, then I mean, you could be looking at a team that, if not competing with the Bills for the division, the Bills and the Patriots, then they could be at least competing for a wild card spot like they were this year. So he is the dark horse for me.
All right. It's easy to say what coach is going to get fired, what coach is going, is not going to make it. I'm not gonna ask that question. I want to ask you though, is when it comes to these coaching hires, from what I see moving forward, you see a lot of these GMs trying to pair up a quarterback like-minded coach to pair with their young quarterback. You see it with Peterson and Trevor Lawrence. You're seeing it. You see it with Brian Dable in New York. You seen it with McDaniel in Miami. You see it with Arizona, Kyler Murray. You see it with LA McVay and Stafford. I'm not saying everybody in the league is trying to follow that, but it is a thing that it is something to watch, and it's a trending thing. I mean, Andy Reid is a guy that's been there with Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he's that quarterback guy, right? So the quarterback position, we know that the position is a different position from all around the on both sides of the ball, to where they get treated a little bit differently for a good reason. And you have to treat that position a little bit differently. And a guy like Doug Peterson knows that. He can coach that. It'd be interesting if Brian Dable is able to, mold any dimes into a completely different player. And again, it'd be interesting to see what happens to Mike McDaniel. For me, and I'll give this over to you after I say this, my question marks really is Matt Eberflus in Chicago, just because of all the missing pieces.
As soon as it was hired, I was like, that's a little questionable for me. But
Nathaniel Hackett, I honestly just, because of just the turnover in Denver, I just don't know what's going to happen over there until they get a decent quarterback that can allow them to actually say, "Dang, we can at least have him for the next 3 years." I don't trust any coach that's coming into Denver to try to make any type of change. And then, of course, you have Josh McDaniels going to the Raiders. And let's be real, I don't even believe Josh McDaniels is the coach until I see him week 1 on the sideline. He might run back to New England.
Here you go.
And then with Lovie Smith, then you have Lovie Smith and I'll get to Dennis Allen shortly. You have Lovie Smith, who got promoted from the Texans, but like I stated since day one, why in the hell was Lovie Smith the last person to be interviewed when he's on the staff?
What do you
have
mean?
Guys like why did Josh McCown get an interview before Lovie Smith? That's what I mean.
Well, because obviously because they wanted Josh McCown. Josh McCown has been their guy since last year.
Okay, I'm listening.
To me, Lovie Smith didn't need an interview. Lovie Smith shouldn't be the head coach of this team. He shouldn't.
I agree with you, Ish. And I agree with you wholeheartedly on that, because, and no disrespect to Texan fans out there, I just need y'all to listen. I think Lovie Smith is about to be set up the field the same way Cutley was.
Bruh, no duh. I mean, this is the most.
But again, listen though, and I'm talking straight to Fracture Water, aka our boy. I just want everybody to know I respect tremendously the optimistic viewpoint on how you see your team and this, that, and the third, and how you want to build it. But I just don't see Lovie Smith being there for more than 2 years. That's just my opinion, and we'll see what happens. I could be having no being, but I don't Lovie Smith. I'll say 3 years. I'll give him 3 years. But other than that,
1 to 2.
I see him being a bridge coach to the next coach that they're going to
To Josh
get in the
McCown.
next.
To Josh McCown. To Josh McCown. 1 to 2 years,
That
and they're going to Josh McCown. They wanted to
that'd be
hire Josh
crazy.
McCown this.
That'd be crazy.
Bro, let me just tell you what it is. Let me tell
I'm
you
listening.
exactly
Tell me
what
what it
happened,
is.
right?
Tell me what it is.
For those of you that don't know, they really wanted to hire Josh McCown. Then this lawsuit came out. And as much as Nick Cassera want to come out and say, oh, the lawsuit didn't have any standing on whether or not we hired Brian Flores, but it had all the standing in the world. And it's the reason why you didn't hire Josh McCown, because that would be a PR nightmare had you gone out and hired Josh McCown when you got all of these qualified individuals. And we're not even getting into, African American coaches or not, like
Nope.
just
Nope.
qualified
Because when it comes
individuals
to
around the league,
qualification,
right?
baby, qualification.
Qualified individuals around the league. You have a ton of qualified individuals, and you want to go with Josh McCown, a journeyman quarterback who did nothing this past year but volunteer at a high school. So let me tell you exactly what is set up. And everybody has seen through this little mirage that they're trying to put up, like, oh, Lovie Smith, he's the guy for us and all that. Listen, Lovie Smith has a good relationship with Josh McCown. What they are trying to do, they tried to do it last year, but Josh McCown turned it down.
Mm-hmm.
They are trying to get Lovie Smith to bring Josh McCown on to
as an offensive coordinator,
not even
or just an offensive passing game, whatever coordinator, right? Whatever you want to put him. Just trying to get him on the staff. I agree.
Bring him on the staff, and then you can say at the end of this year, or maybe at the end of next year, you can say, oh, everybody was so impressed with the way he led and all the things that he did. And basically they can validate now why he deserves a shot to be the head coach, right? Like everybody knows that's what they're trying to do. They are trying to set it up. Because
Texan fans don't know that.
Josh McCown, he's going to bring Josh McCown on the staff, and they're going to fire Lovie Smith after 1 or 2 seasons, even though they already know that there's no way Lovie Smith is going to be able to turn this team around in that short of a time because of all the holes and the mess that Bill O'Brien left behind. And they're going to fire Lovie Smith and bring in Josh McCown. That's the end of the story. That's what's going to happen.
They're going to bring in Josh McCown as the head coach and bring in Bill O'Brien as offensive coordinator.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm sorry.
No, Davis Mills, they're going to cut Davis Mills and then make him the offense coordinator.
Oh, Lord. Hey, let me wrap it up with Zal. This is a surprise for me, though. I'll be honest with you. For the Saints, I just wasn't expecting. You go from Sean Payton, a guy that, you go from a guy that wants to throw it all around the field. And, of course, you had Drew Brees to be able to do that for you. And the Saints have shown throughout the season, especially, of course, against Tampa and other teams throughout the season, that the defense is still there. The defense is not lacking for the Saints. It's just the offense could not get going after Jameis got hurt. So in my mind, to be honest with you, I thought they were going back offense to let Dennis Allen stay in defense coordinator, do what he do, and get an offensive guy to try to get this offense back on track. I respect them moving Dennis Allen up from within the organization. But my question marks again for the Saints is, what happens with the offense? Unfortunately, everybody heard the news with Alvin Kamara, with what he did in Vegas over the weekend. So that's another thing that the Saints are going to have to figure out moving forward too. And it's just interesting with that move. I'm not saying I love it or I hate it. It's just, for me, it's just very interesting. We'll see what happens, how that plays out.
I mean, to me, I think you could see it coming. The writing was on the wall. Sean Payton really wanted him to be his successor. Not to mention, there was the one game this season that he was the head coach.
He was the head coach, yeah.
And they did a really good job in that game. So I think that was kind of like an audition for him there. And like you said, it's internal, right? Like, it's a team that they have their own issues going on that team. And I think one of the best ways to kind of manage those issues is to, stay with the person, right? Like, let's bring this guy that has already been there. He was there for a long time anyway with Sean Payton. Promote him to head coach, and then he can build an offensive system. Now, are they keeping the same system? Are they going to a new system?
What are you going to do with Taysom? What's going on with Taysom? I mean, it's a lot of question marks.
Do you move on from Michael Thomas? Do you move on from Alvin Kamara? Does he get? Does Alvin Kamara get?
Suspended for a couple of games?
To be honest, I think it's 8 to 10 at the minimum.
Wow.
I think it's 8 to 10
That's a lot.
at the minimum.
That's a lot.
Well, I'm just telling you what I think it is.
I'm
The,
going. I'm going 4 to 6.
no,
Uh,
the minimum for a battery charge in the NFL rules or whatever the personal conduct rules is 6 games. That's the minimum,
Man, nobody
and
getting
then
no
they
6
can they
games for
can go
that.
they can go further than that if they feel like it, if the situation calls for it. I think they set an example with him because he was in Vegas
During the
during
Pro
the Pro
Bowl.
Bowl.
Yeah, I got you. No, I
Technically,
got you.
technically speaking, he was off the clock, but in reality, he was there on the clock for a company outing.
As
But
a
they
as
gonna
an
make an
NFL player, you
example.
on the clock 24/7. I don't want to hear that
Well,
shit.
I mean, I'm just gonna say they gonna make an example. I think 8 to 10 minimum. If he gets found, they're saying there's video and the video supports what the man's saying. Bruh, we
I
all know
haven't
what
seen the
happened last
video,
time
but
the
you
video
are
came out.
you are correct. I haven't seen the video, but yes, I've from the video that I've heard that have come out. Yes, it was very graphic. The last time we had an incident with an NFL player in Vegas, of course, Ray Rice, and that situation, we all know what happened with that. It's not the same,
Kareem
but
Hunt. We see what happened when video came
but
out with
again,
that.
that was different. Again, I'm just
Not
talking
they're
about
not
I'm
the
just talking
same
about Vegas. I'm just
situation,
talking about
but I'm
Vegas.
just
But they're
saying
not the same.
video.
Again, that was a domestic dispute. This one, from what I heard, of course, it seemed like the guy was trying Alvin Kamara again. I don't really know. I haven't seen the video, and to be honest with you, I really don't need to see the video. That's just my honest
I don't
opinion.
need to either.
It's just, it's just unfortunate. That's just how I see it. I look at some of these things that go on around the league, and it's easy to say. It's easy to say for people like us that's making, an okay amount of money to say, oh, well, if I had $40 million, I wouldn't be doing this. I would be sitting at home, jacking off and eating M&Ms all day. You sure? You
Yes.
sure? You
Yes.
sure? Because if you have $40 million, I'm just saying you'll be out here having a little fun too.
No.
Okay, it sound good. It brief well, like we say in the army, but.
All right.
All right, I'm just saying we
I'm
can
gonna
we
get
can
the
easily
house.
say what we would do and not do when we don't have it. But until you get it,
You won't catch me at the house. Matter of fact, I would have turned down the Pro Bowl on top of that.
all right, sound good.
I wouldn't have been. You wouldn't catch me in no Vegas for the Pro Bowl, so I can go play 2-hand touch. Come on now.
Anyway,
Unless y'all give me some money, if I get a bonus for it, then I'll be there.
and let's all remember though, when it comes to contract situational things that are in the NFL, I'm assuming, and I don't know right off the top of my head, but I'm assuming some of those players are in their contract saying that if if you're not in the Pro Bowl, if you're selected to go for some type of media thing or also a promotional event, most likely you're going to be there
I'll
in
go.
Vegas.
I'll go
So,
and pull my groin on the first play. I'm on the field.
anyways. But before we do move on to the next topic, though, speaking of the New Orleans Saints, though, if you haven't checked out Home Team on Netflix, the movie about Sean Payton when he was out for a year for Bountygate, definitely check that out. It definitely surprised me. I was not expecting too much, but I was impressed. I'll say that I was impressed. All right, let's go ahead and move on.
Okay.
Speaking of people that are not impressed right now, Mr. Kyler Murray with the Arizona Cardinals. You see these segues today? I'm killing these segues tonight, Ish. I'm killing them.
You got him.
Yee. No, but on a serious note, though, Kyler Murray, of course, if you haven't heard over the last couple of days, he has unfollowed the Arizona Cardinals and pretty much have gone ghost from the Arizona Cardinals realm on social media, not in real life, because we all know social media is not real. But when it comes to the younger generation, they use it in a way that for them it is real. And like the saying it says, where there's smoke, there is fire. And with this topic Ish, I think there's a lot of layers to the onion because we talked about them all season. Well, not even just all season long. In the off season, when they made all these moves to get all these players to kind of do what the Rams did this season and go all in and try to make a run at the Super Bowl this year, they were looking great in the beginning of the season. They looked like everything was everything they thought and more until, of course, we got into the back half of the season and we saw what happened with them. My question to you is there something really brewing inside of the organization with Kyler and management to where is Kyler trying to pull an Aaron Rodgers where he's trying to maybe force himself out of Arizona, maybe go somewhere else, or maybe he's trying to play hardball to maybe get a contract extension? I'm trying to figure this out, Ish. Can you help me out? Let the people know what you're thinking about.
Yeah, like you said, there are a lot of moving pieces here. So, first to address the contract situation. So next year is his last year of his rookie contract, but there isn't a fifth year option that the team can definitely pick up. And for a fact, we all know that they will pick up that fifth year option, right? The problem that you have with that is normally this would be around the time when teams and their quarterbacks, especially these rookie quarterbacks that are supposed to be franchise guys, this would be around the time when they start negotiating that next contract.
Yep.
And it doesn't. And some of the speculation is that maybe they haven't quite reached out, or the numbers aren't looking right where Kyler wants them to be, or they're still trying to put him on like a prove it deal. Another thing that needs to be said is we talked about it at the end of the season with Cliff Kingsbury, and we heard about like the ownership seemed upset with Cliff Kingsbury, like coaches weren't being paid their playoff bonuses for some reason, or it hadn't come in yet and stuff. And there was speculation that maybe they might move on from Cliff Kingsbury. And we know Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray are kind of like that.
Not even just like that. They also have the same agent.
They have the same agent, and Cliff is pretty much the reason why Kyler ended up
there.
where he was. Because let's not forget they had Josh Rosen and drafted him early in the draft the year.
Woo! She is not in the league anymore.
Kyler Murray. So there may be some smoke around the fact that maybe management is maybe the ownership group, they're saying that Cliff, this is your last year if you don't clean things up. And Kyler's kind of sitting there and saying like, hey, if this is Cliff last year, I may not want you to take that fifth year option. I may not even want to talk about an extension. I may want to just go. I want to go somewhere else and try something else. So that may be part of it as well. And then there is this one little quiet story that people are somewhat mentioning, but they're not really taking seriously. But I would say, based on this guy, I would take this a little more seriously and his talent. Okay. Some people are thinking Kyler has been in the NFL for now, 3 years? Mm-hmm. This will be his fourth year coming up. Mm-hmm. He's played quarterback in the league. He's experienced it. He's had a pretty decent time. It wasn't bad. It wasn't necessarily good. We all know the Oakland A's.
Baseball. I knew you was going with it.
The Oakland A's still own his rights, and he has the talent. He was drafted really high. He's not like some of these other guys who were just like 17th round draft picks and who got some talent in high school, but they can kind of play, but can't really play. This is no Russell Wilson. This is a full-blown blue chip baseball prospect. A lot of people in baseball still want to see him come there. They believe that if he were to go to baseball, he would have a really good career. Some people think, hey, maybe he's done with the NFL. Maybe he's tired of it.
I have a question. I have a question for you, Ish. I have a serious question for you. You do know the MLB is in a lockout at the moment, correct?
Yeah, I know that.
I'm just making sure because last time I checked, Kyler Murray gonna play for who? What baseball team? Because baseball ain't starting this year.
Sir, I'm not saying, but here's the thing. I'm not saying this year. That's another thing. You got to think about it. It's not necessarily this year that he's going to do this because, again, this is last year of his contract, even though they're going to pick that fifth year option up. But they might not. I mean, if he goes out there, let's say right now, like we're talking about it, what if this is him saying, don't pick that fifth year option up? Like, what if he's saying, hey, bro, don't pick that fifth year option up. I'm not playing for y'all. Fifth year option, pick it up and I'm going to go play baseball.
I respect everything you just said because that is something that possibly can happen. I don't think it will. I
don't think it will,
but
no.
it can. So I'm going to stay in the realm of reality and stay in the sport of the NFL. No. I'm serious. Stay in the sport of the NFL when it comes to if Kyler says, I don't want to be in Arizona anymore. Again, if you did see Kyler Murray's Instagram, he also put up Mike Evans letting Kyler and the world know that he would love to catch passes from a Texas legend, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe, again, Tampa just lost Tom Brady. Could we maybe see a trade amongst Arizona and Tampa to where you get Kyler onto that Tampa squad with a coach like Bruce Arians, and you know how he plays offensively wise, and Kyler fits that, I think, very well, even though he's not a tall quarterback like Bruce Arians likes. But out there slinging that thing around those receivers, Chris Godwin might be gone. But to have Mike Evans, 1,000-yard receiver, and to have OJ Howard, I think Gronk would be maybe. I think he might be coming back. I think he's going to leave most likely because Tom's not going to be there. Why not go to Tampa? That
Can
just
I?
of course
Can
you
I
can.
just say something?
Let me know.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. If I'm the Arizona Cardinals, why the hell would I trade him to another team in the NFC?
NFC, yes, that's the biggest. Yes,
Why-
you're correct.
why would
You're
I-
correct.
why would I
And
do
I
that?
said that, and I
don't
said
care
that
if
as
you
well
want
when
to
I
play
was earlier when I was talking to myself about it. I said the same thing. I was like, well, the only thing that's holding them up
Yeah,
is
like,
the
I don't care if you wanna
NFC.
play.
Imagine if Tampa played the Arizona Cardinals in the NFC Championship game in Arizona. That would be some shit,
like,
right? Yes,
look,
I
don't wanna
agree.
play-
I agree.
I'm not gonna send you. I don't care if you want to play with Mike Evans. I'm not sending you to Tampa Bay. I don't care if you want to play with CeeDee Lamb. I'm not sending you to Dallas. You know what I'm gonna do though? If you really want to go, you really want to open your mouth and say you want to go somewhere.
Don't play
worry.
to the Browns.
No. Don't worry.
Okay.
I'm gonna call Houston up. I'm gonna be like, hey. Houston,
Oh my
God. I'll go straight up Deshaun Watson for Kyler Murray right now.
Oh Lord, you about to get the Texas fan base hype.
Hey,
Now I will say this for Kyler
why
for Kyler to come back to a Texas team, it might not be the Cowboys, but even though he thinks the Cowboys are ass, he literally could be either the best or second best quarterback to play for the Texans if he was to join the Texans, and Deshaun Watson gets a fresh start in Arizona. And if you do know about the Arizona general manager, hey, they like to party over there. So I mean, it could be a good fit for both squads.
Cardinals and he's asking to leave. What better way to be like, oh, you want to leave? Don't worry, I got you a place, and I'm gonna send you right over to Houston so you can go live in all that dysfunction down there. Have fun, go play over there, and I'm gonna bring Deshaun Watson because let's be honest, if you're the Houston Texans, right? You know you got to trade Deshaun Watson. Why not bring Kyler Murray to Houston? If Arizona were to call and say, I will do a straight trade, Kyler Murray for Deshaun Watson, would you not take? I mean, if you're the Texans, would you not take that trade? I mean, other than the fact that he's not going to want to re-sign with you, right? Like the problem. But
here's the kicker. Here's the kicker, though, Ish, and we've seen this over the last 2 years right now with the Cincinnati Bengals and last year with Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It just takes 1 year. It just takes 1 year. It just takes 1 year to not even just to win again, to be able to win one championship. As we've seen with certain teams in the NFL, some teams haven't even gotten to a Super Bowl or won a Super Bowl, right? And with Tampa, with them having two championships within a 20-year span of each other, and with Tampa also being a paper bag type of franchise in the 80s as well. I'm talking about losing all of their games, going 1-15 consecutive years. For them to win 2 Super Bowls, it is possible for some of these franchises out here to turn it around. It is. I believe it. We've seen it done. So why not? If you're the Texans and you really want to show everybody that you really want to, that you're trying to change, the only way you change is is that you win games. You show people that you can win games and get away from this BS losing and whatever that you're doing in Houston. And that's the only way that you're going to change anything. Going from Tampa Bay, they did that. Even in Jacksonville, when they went to the AFC Championship game just, 4 years ago with Jalen Ramsey and the crew, it just takes 1 year or two to be able for people to say, you know what? This is a good squad. We can roll with this and this down the third. But everybody can't be the Patriots. Everybody can't be Bill Belichick and Tom Brady for 20 years.
Tell Houston.
Everybody can't be Big Ben and Mike Tomlin for 16. Okay, it's maybe you become the Philadelphia Eagles, right? You ride with a guy you thought was gonna, and then all of a sudden another guy comes in and wins you a Super Bowl. There are multiple ways to win Super Bowls and win a game in the NFL. You as a coach, that is why you get paid the big money to be a head coach. Have to figure those things out, and of course, I'm segueing that into the Super Bowl, the biggest game that we have coming up this Sunday. That is going to be, I think, the best part of the Super Bowl is the chess match between both of these head coaches in trying to get the best out of both of these teams. So, again, just to wrap it up, I'm going to reiterate, like I said earlier, where there is smoke, there is fire. This is a story that we will be continuing to watch over the next couple of months going to the offseason.
I hope he leaves.
I'll be honest with you, too. I wouldn't be mad at all. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes, but Yeah,
And I would
that's
love for him to
interesting.
go. I would love for him to go to the organization in Houston, just for the pettiness.
Sounds like you ish. Sounds like you. But on a serious note, though, we appreciate everybody again for tuning in to this recap of the NFL week. Even though there were no games, and we're not even gonna count the Pro Bowl, as you can see in the NFL, the clock does not stop, baby. It's 24/7 around here in the NFL, so we're always gonna have some things to talk about. But Sunday, hey, we will be here. We don't have the time just yet, but I will ask my friend here on while we're live. Would you like to do an hour special or a 2 hour special for the Super Bowl? We will have guests on, so I didn't know if you want to be on for 2 hours or for 1 hour, maybe in a little over an hour. We don't know, but I do
Maybe a
know
little over.
it'll be a little bit longer than our usual hour long show. We'll have a pregame show, of course, for the Super Bowl. We'll of course have our picks. And we hope to see everybody that usually tunes in. Hopefully, we see some new faces. And we just want to, again, discuss the Super Bowl and figure out who's going to win this game. And also, hopefully, have a great halftime show. There's a lot of hype on the halftime show, and it better come through.
I'm not
That's all I
watching
know.
that.
Okay, you can not watch all you want to. I'm about to be Crip walking and Mary J. Blige and Kendrick Lamar. I'm about to do all that. All right, I'm about you crazy. You crazy. I ain't missing that one. That's about to be
I'm not
a good
watching
one.
the halftime.
That's fine. That's
I'm gonna
fine.
be over there eating something.
You do that. I'm gonna be watching the halftime show. All right. With that being said, we appreciate everybody as always for tuning in. We will see y'all on Sunday. We will let y'all know the time that we will be on Sunday, but we will see y'all on Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, and yeah.